Hunt. This bio might sound familiar to you because earlier I did mistake two bios together. So please welcome Andrea Hunt. She is a transformational coach and EFT practitioner. She empowers women in business to boost their confidence by unraveling and clearing beliefs relating to imposter syndrome, self doubting narratives, and insecurities using EFT tapping. The emotional freedom technique is a powerful mind body tool that removes emotional blocks that hold women back so that they, can have successful lives. And I'm super excited to have you join us here today. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Hi, thank you so much for the warm welcome. I am so excited to be here. And so today I want to talk to you about the importance of your emotional health for both your business and also in your personal life. So I want to tell you a little bit about this really cool mind body technique called EFT tapping. So, first of all, being able to manage your emotions is actually a superpower. And after the speech, you'll probably understand more why. So first of all, EFT tapping can be used to prevent negative emotions. It can be used to clear and even recalibrate emotions when something bad has already happened. It can be used to clear the emotional stories that we have within ourselves about self-doubt or maybe things that cause lack of confidence. They are affecting our emotional health because they're creating fear and anxiety and worry within our lives. So let's start simple. So what is emotional health? So emotional health, it basically involves the ability to control, manage, and also express our emotions in a healthy way. So we are emotional beings after all, and many of our actions and impulses are unfortunately led by our emotions. So you might be asking yourself, okay, so what impact does that have? Well, let me give you a scenario and you see if you can relate to this or not. Let's say you woke up in a good mood, you're rested, you're calm, you had a great weekend, you're walking down the street, somebody bumps into you, maybe they step on your foot by accident, they apologize, you say, hey, no worries, and you walk off and you carry on with your day. You have a great day. However, let's think of the other scenario. Let's imagine that you're exhausted, overworked, stressed, and already crabby, and a stranger knocks into you. That's something else altogether, isn't it? You might explode on a total stranger. You might scream at them. Maybe you even get to your office and have a cry later because you're already in a frazzled state. So, as you can see, we had different emotional responses to the same exact situation just based on our emotional state. One was a healthy response, and the other one was probably not helpful. So, what does that have to do with emotional health? Well, today, as we're talking about burnout, it should be worth mentioning that Deloitte had a report lately that up to 50% of women during the last few years have reported experiencing burnout. And this is hardly surprising given the last couple of years with the pandemic and all of the added responsibilities that a lot of women had both inside or, in their careers and jobs. So the problem with this is usually that when most of us get into very stressful situations, we're just not really sure how to manage our emotions, especially when we have times of severe stress. So what happens? It builds up, it builds up, builds up. And at some point, our body or our mind stops us. We might emotionally just have a breakdown. Our body might stop us by getting sick. We crash physically, emotionally, and in every single way. So today I want to talk about how we can take care of our emotional health because we want to avoid that kind of burnout. So it's important to understand that when we're in an emotionally healthy place, we're in control of our thoughts, feelings, and our behaviors. We're able to cope with life's challenges. Doesn't mean life is perfect, doesn't mean we've eliminated all problems, but we're more resilient when those things happen so we can bounce back easier. But that's unfortunately not what most of us do. Many of us don't stop and regulate our emotions and recalibrate, so we often can spiral out of control. And all the while, we're telling ourselves we don't have time to take care of ourselves. We don't have time to meditate. We don't have time to exercise. We don't have time to cook a healthy meal. And this is especially one of the biggest issues that I see with my female clients, is that they might be putting everybody and everything first. And the fact is, we can't be anything to anyone if we're not taking care of ourselves, emotionally and physically. We have to put our oxygen mask on first. So let me tell you about a really helpful tool that will help with that. So how does EFT tapping actually help you manage your emotional health? Well, EFT stands for the Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's a little funny looking mind-body tool, but it helps you to regulate your feelings, clear negative emotions, recalibrate your feelings, can empower you with positive affirmations, and create more empowering and helpful beliefs. So I have been using EFT tapping on my own for the last 10 years for basically every situation under the sun, from studying for finals exams to going to interviews to breakups to, arguments with my parents. And now I can use it with my clients. I used to be one of those people who would get completely derailed by one thing in the morning, and the rest of my day I was just bumping into people and situations, just reacting and exploding. Now I'm thankful to say that I am not like that anymore. So the Emotional Freedom Technique uses finger tapping on acupuncture points on the face along the body's energy meridians, and it calms the body's fight, flight, or freeze response. And it's best used in 3 different ways I'm going to tell you about. The first is as a preventative technique, the second is responsive, and the third is a clearing technique for limiting beliefs and also our self-doubt. So the first one is preventative. So my advice is always to use EFT tapping as part of your morning routine. There's plenty of videos on YouTube. There's even the Tapping Solution app. And basically, if you take 5 to 15 minutes in the morning at the beginning of your day to ground yourself, to center yourself, you're much less likely to be as reactive emotionally to the things that are happening in the rest of your day. So remember, prevention is always key. However, this brings us to the second way that it can be used. It can be used as a method to recalibrate throughout the day. So things can always happen. We just simply don't have control of everything that goes on around us. We might get an email from a boss that really makes us upset. Maybe our kids do something. Maybe our partner said something. Maybe we're stuck in traffic and now we're late. There's a million things that can possibly happen. And it's so important to be able to to take our power back and get ourselves back into an emotionally grounded and centered place. So we're not just reacting to every single thing that happens around us. And this is one of those times where you can use those same videos or tapping meditations and just take 5 to 15 minutes, sit in your car in a parking lot, excuse yourself to go to the restroom, take a walk, however you can get away from everybody and everything for just a few minutes to calm yourself down so you can go back to the situation in a clear head. And the third method that I wanted to tell you about, that is the one that I use with my clients, and it's using EFT for our self-doubting narratives and some of the core limiting beliefs that we might have that are causing us anxiety, stress, and worry and fear. Let me give you an example of how this might show up. So let's say, as an 8-year-old kid, let's say you had a book report and you're supposed to read it in front of the class. You go up there, the teacher says a snide comment. Everybody laughs at you. So what beliefs did you take out of that situation? You probably believe that I'm a bad public speaker. It's not safe to be seen. Maybe you don't feel that you can talk without everybody criticizing you, and you carry that into adulthood. And so suddenly your boss wants you to present something to a client, and you're gripped with anxiety and fear that you're going to mess it all up. And that's one of the really common ones. But there's also other limiting beliefs, like people have, I'm a fraud, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm weak if I ask for help. So these are the ones that I work with my clients on, because these kind of beliefs create such heightened anxiety and fear that people put extra pressure on themselves, that create all sorts of problems, some of them physical. Maybe they can't sleep or eat because of them. And it also can cause people to avoid situations or procrastinate. So this is why EFT is so powerful, because when you clear back the layers of these beliefs, think about it. Can you imagine the difference in how you would show up for a meeting if you believed in yourself and had more confidence instead of believing that you're a fraud? So in conclusion, stress happens, life happens, but having the right tools to be able to manage your emotions and are imperative for your success and you're on a daily basis. So now I've told you 3 different ways that you can use EFT to manage your emotional health and be in control of your emotions. Take your power back. I hope that you can also look up and use this superpower, and I hope that it's piqued your interest. So, whatever the situation is, that EFT tapping can save the day. I can't wait to hear if it works for you, and please reach out to me at my website, www.drea.com, with any questions that you have. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to be here.
Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate it. It was an awesome topic that you shared with us today. I was doing the techniques as you were sharing it with us. It's always helpful, beneficial. It really did work. I feel more centered. So I love practicing that. It's something that I kind of newly integrated into my life. So I just want to thank you so much for sharing that. Our last speaker